purposes, today we're doing Venn diagrams and sets, right? We're actually going to start off with sets. So, and we have a little story to follow here. So I hope you all enjoy it. It's a pretty old story from when I now started classes. It all starts with a castle and an evil wizard. And these two people here, their friend has been taken prisoner in that castle by an evil wizard. So naturally, they want to rescue their friend. So they go to the castle and, they try to figure out what's going on in that castle. Okay? Uh, not the most original storyline, but like I said, right, this is Jimmy and Rowan, and you're going to the castle. And we'll see what happens when you reach the castle. So you all have a lot of writing to do today and diagrams to draw. Don't let everything on the screen confuse you. Here's what I want you all to do. This is all I want you all to take down so far. This. I am just circling this. I want everyone to take that down for me. That's all I want you to write. Forget everything else on the screen. Take a minute and a half and take it down. And when you're finished, say, hey, finished on the chat, right? So for the first question, right? For the very first question, I asked you, let's say it come just like this in the CXC exam or your end of term test, right? The examiner writes this to the top here and then says A equal. And they want you to write out what in that rectangle to get the full marks. Now look at the question here. A represents the multiples of 3. So here's what you have to do, right? But I'm going to make some mistakes on purpose. The answer for A, so what are the multiples of 3? And of course, your answers have to be between 1 to 16. You cannot use any numbers on the other than these numbers here. So multiples of 3 is 3, 6, 6, 9, forgetting my 3 times table here, 12, 15, and 18. I made 3 errors on purpose. Here's what I want the class to do, right? Tell me what my 3 errors are. Or even if you can't figure out all 3 errors, you can just tell me what one error is. Why won't I get full marks for stating the question like that? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, and 18. All of those are A, multiples of 3. I guarantee you they are multiples of 3. But why won't I get it correct, right? Now, the most obvious answer, which a lot of people are saying, and they're right, is that the 18 is a problem. Remember, the numbers that I'm given to work with is from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 16. 18 is out of the range. So that's the first mistake. So what's the next mistake? The next mistake is this. When I'm writing all the answers, I have to separate them with commas. I have to, right? And the next thing is this. You have to put the answers in brackets. Now, some people will ask, do I have to put normal brackets or do I have to put the squiggly brackets? The truth is nobody cares. Nobody cares. But I know most teachers will say, well, the squiggly brackets look fancier. So put your answers in squiggly brackets. But I guarantee you, if you put it in normal brackets, you will still get it correct. Right? So this here is the answer for A. You think you all could do B for me? The second question. Let me number the question. This is 1. I want you all to do the number 2 for me. B is the multiples of 5. See if you could send an answer for me with 0 mistakes in it. 0 mistakes. Right? Right. And guys, I'm sorry if I don't answer all the questions, right? Zoom has this crazy format now where I can't see all the questions that people or responses people are saying. I have to go through a procedure to see it. I'm trying to resolve it, right? So don't think I'm ignoring you all, right? But still send your answers if you can. matches. Plenty correct answers coming up on chat for B, which I expected. Multiples of 5, right? Are, it's obviously going to be 5, 10, and 15. And you notice I put my brackets and I put my squiggly brackets. If you can't draw squiggly brackets, don't bother. Just put the normal brackets for me. Right. So you would be surprised that a lot of people actually get the first 2 questions wrong. And you're probably saying, well, what's wrong with that person? Why something so easy somebody could get wrong? But I want to explain why. There's a very good reason people get number 1 and number 2 wrong. It's because, right? It's because they forgot, they mix it up with question 3 and question 4. Let me write it here. Question 3 and question 4. You notice how similar let me put a little tick here. How similar question 1 looks and question 3 looks. Look at how similar it looks. Question 1 is just A. And then question 3 is N is A, but it's in brackets and it have the letter N on the outside. And a lot of people confuse the 2 questions, but I'm going to give you the answer for number 3. The answer for number 3 is 5. And I want to explain why the answer is 5. Question 3 isn't asking you to list all the elements of A. Like in the first question, the multiples of 3 are 3, 6, 9, 12, and 15. You physically list out all the members or all the elements. But number 3, when you see the letter N on the outside, just they want you to count up how much answers you have. The N stands for the number of answers. Doesn't it have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 elements in the answer? So they just want you to put a 5. And you don't have to put no commas and no brackets. It's just NA is equal to 5. So when you see the letter N on the outside and the letter in the brackets, that means they want you to count up how much answers you got. You think you all could send the answer for number 4 for me? It's not a trick question. What's the answer for number 4? Right? That's a pretty easy question, right? You're just following the format of the other one. Right? And the answer is obviously 3 because B is the multiples of 5. B is 5, 10, and 15. NB means how much answers do we have? 1, 2, 3. So the answer is NB is equal to 3. Simple, right? Real simple stuff. Guys, make sure and write down the answers as we go along, because when I reach the last question, I will have to erase everything and switch the slides, right? So make sure and take down the answers and questions as we go along. So let's move on to question 5 now. Easy stuff. Some people are saying, whoa, this is too easy. Don't worry, I'll catch you just now. Right. So number 5 is A and the rainbow. Now, notice this is not the letter N. The letter N has a little horn here, a little ears on top. This here is a rainbow. It has no horn over here, okay? So in case you can't remember, that symbol means intersect, overlap, or what's in common. Everyone take down this for me. The green thing where I put the arrow. That symbol is intersect. But intersect also means overlap or common. That's it. There's 3 words. You know how in English you have more than one word that means the same thing? Like quick, fast, and rapid. All of those means to move fast, right? Well, intersect, overlap, and common, all of them are represented by this letter, which is a little rainbow. Right. So here's what I want everyone to do. As a little, just to see how much you can remember from school, because I know most people will have done this, and I'm not too sure if it's on the SEA syllabus. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? What is the answer for A, intersect B, or A, overlap B, or A, common with B, right? What's the answer for that? Right? And write the answer like how you would write it in the exam. In the exam. A intersect B. What do A and B have in common? Well, remember, we have A over here and we have B. What's common between A and B? Well, the only common thing is what? 15, right? That's the only thing that's common to both of them. So it's not like they have two things in common, three things in common, or four things in common. They just have one measly thing in common. So, I mean, I just saying, if it was two things, right, you have to separate them with commas, right? But since it's only one thing, you put the 15, but you have to put the brackets. If it was two things they have in common, you would put what? A comma in between them. So the other question is this, that I normally get. Because the 15 appears twice, like how you have a 15 in A and a 15 in B, do I have to write the 15 twice? No, you do not. You only have to write it once, right? So sorry for the real poor brackets. It's real hard to draw the squiggly brackets on our drawing pad here. Now, so what would be the answer for number 6? Number 6 and number 5 look almost the same. Both of them is A intersect B, right? But now it have the letter N on the outside, the annoying N. The annoying N only wants you to count up how much answers we got above. How much answers we got above? How much things do A and B have in common? And it only has one thing in common. And that's the answer. No commas, no brackets, no nothing, right? Let's do number 7. For number 7, this is a U. U means union. It's the opposite of a rainbow. Everyone take down this for me. U means union or combine, right? They want you to combine everything in A and B, not intersect. They want it come like you have 2 cakes and a sweet drink, and your friend has a doubles. To combine it means you're going to put everything on a table. So you see the 2 cakes, the sweet drink, and a doubles. You're combining everything, right? Right. So we are going to combine everything in A and B, but I'm going to do something wrong on purpose, right? What does A have? A 3, a 6, a 9, a 12, and a 15, right? And B has a 5, 10, and a 15. So let's combine everything, right? We have to keep it in numerical order, right? So we have, oops, 3, 5, 6, 9, 10, 12. Do I have to write the 15 twice? Do I have to write the 15 twice? Because the A has a 15 and the B has a 15. The answer is no. In Venn diagrams and sets, you're going to realize in your answers, you're only allowed to write a number once. Even if it appears 3 times or 2 times, you can only write something once in your answer. You can't repeat things, right? And of course, I put my squiggly brackets. What did I do wrong? Didn't I just combine everything in A and B? It's like I had a 3, a 6, a 9, a 12, and a 15 in my pocket, and then I had 5, 10, and 15 in another pocket. So I take out everything from both pockets and I throw them on a table, but no duplicates. You only write the 15 once. Anybody can tell me what the problem is with my answer? Anybody can tell me what my answer is? My problem is, right? Some people are seeing it. Doesn't it have the annoying N on the outside? If the annoying N wasn't there and it was A union B, A combined with B, then this answer would be correct. And you notice I have everything from smallest to largest in numerical order. But they didn't ask us that, sorry, the N is there. So they don't want us to list out the items. They want us to count up how much answers we would get. The answer would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So my final answer should be this: 7. Okay? You gotta look out for that annoying N on the outside. Ask yourself, is it there or not? If it's there, you're only gonna count up how much answers you would have gotten. Last question, right? And don't worry, we're gonna have a practice question. I won't send you all out with just one question. This symbol here, whenever you see a little stroke like this, everyone take down this. Don't worry, I will explain it. This is the hardest one. That little stroke means complement or not, or opposite, right? Compliment doesn't mean to tell somebody, hey, something good. Like, hey, you're looking real tall, right? That is a compliment in English. In maths, a compliment means not, kind of like the opposite. Right? So I hope everyone takes down the note. So if let me write it back big over here. If I come and ask you, who is A? Right? Let's look over here. A is 3, 6, 9, 12, and 15, right? If I come and tell you A complement now, that means who is not A. So who is A? A, I'm just going to circle A, like from the numbers we allowed to choose from. A is who? 3. We got a different color because that's going to be hard to see. Right? 3, 6, 9, 12, and 15. Everyone agrees what I just circled is A. So if I come and ask you a complement now, I am asking you who is not A. Who is not A? And everyone who I didn't circle. So who is not A? 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 10, 11, 13, 14, and 16. But they asked me to count up how much people is not A. You think you all can send the answer for that one for me? So to figure out who is not A, you have to identify who is A first. And then say, all right, I know who A is. Now I know who is not A. So what's the answer for number 8? Because we have the annoying N on the outside. How much people are not A? Do a count up. What's the answer for that one? Right, answers are coming up. Give you a hint, the answer starts with the letter E. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 people are not A from all the numbers we had to choose from. Now, the thing about maths, right? I always let you all know this. When I'm teaching, right, a topic, you don't have to worry about understanding everything 100%. Very few people could watch a set of questions or an explanation and get everything 100%. I'm just happy if you understand about 60 or 70%, like if you understand the majority of it. And then we're going to do another example. And as we do more and more examples, the percentage of understanding will go up and up and up. And also, the classes are being fully recorded. So in case you don't get something in class, right? Not a problem. In your spare time, you watch back the recording. And I guarantee you, everything will fall into place. Right? Let me know when you guys are ready to move on to the next. Right, so this is their friend here who was caught in class, right? Let's see what drama unfolds here. That's the evil wizard, by the way. Looks pretty evil, well dressed, but evil, right? So he wants help to decipher a magic scroll. So he needs some people to go somewhere to decipher it. So, right? And that's our captive there. He wants to be home in time for Christmas. So he tells the two people, what is his name? Jimmy and Rowan, they have to go to the swamp where there's a witch who will decipher the scroll, right? The wizard would go to the swamp, but he has been exiled from the swamp. So he can't go to the swamp to talk to the witch to decipher the scroll. So he needs people to carry it for him to do it, right? Right? And your friend name is Claus, by the way. Yeah, that's his scroll there. All right. So let's get some diagrams into this now. Venn diagrams. Now, I know you all seen something kind of colorful on the screen there, right? You're seeing water, you're seeing grass. And what do you all get when water and grass meet? This is the most popular type of Venn diagram, right? This here is water. This here is grass or land, right? And what do you think you have in the middle there? When water and grass meet, when they combine, it starts with the letter M, right? It's mud, right? So this is how I want you to kind of visualize Venn diagrams, right? The how it is when water and land overlap, you get mud. So the mud comes like the common region. It comes like an intersection region. But anyway, let's go ahead and do this question. And I know some people didn't 100% get the A with the little explanation mark, but I'm going to redo one in a little while. Do me a favor, right? Let's go. Let's write down this question. All I want you all to do is write this down, right? And then we will fill out everything here. But just write down what I circled. You means everything in the question, the universal set, everything that's involved in the question. And apparently that's positive numbers. In case you're not familiar with this symbol, that means less than or equal to 12. So we're dealing with all numbers today. Positive numbers are integers, just a whole number, from 1 to 12. Okay? Don't worry if you don't understand what all these symbols mean. As I do the question, I will talk it through. What are all the positive numbers up to 12? Now, less than or equal to 12 means we have to include 12, right? So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, and then it's going to count all the way up to what? 12. And I hope I didn't forget. If I can't count to 12, then I probably shouldn't be your maths teacher. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Everyone write down that for me. So the universal set, all the numbers that we have to choose from for this particular question was stated by the examiner to be 1 to 12. Right? Right. Right. So A is going to be the prime numbers up to 12, right? In case you all didn't know, a prime number is a number that's only divisible by 1 and itself. Is 1 a prime number? This I always ask, even in Form 5. Is 1 a prime number? The answer is nowhere. 1 is not a prime number. So A, what are the prime numbers from 1 to 12? You can't put 1, so we start with 2, 3, 5 is a prime number because 5 can only be divided by 5 in itself. 7, 9 is not a prime number. 11. Everyone agrees with me there? Those are the prime numbers from 1 to 12. 2, 3. I'm going to do a check here. 4 is not a prime number. Somebody said 4, but 4 can be divided by 4, 1, and 2, and 2 could go into 4. A prime number can only be divided by 1 and itself. And what is B? B are all the factors of 12. So what are all the factors of 12? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. Those, but from primary school, right? Like I said, I have to make some assumptions here that you all remember things like multiples and factors, right? Right. So here's what, somebody had a question, right? It's based on the previous slide, but I'm going to use this slide to help out. If I ask you all, who is A, right? Well, let me start with B. If I ask you all, who is B? The answer would be, well, I have the answer for B. B is what? The factors of 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. If I come and ask you, who is B prime? You think you all can send an answer for me? And this is a little practice question. How much is B prime? In other words, not prime, complement. Sorry, I said prime. Complement, the B with a little stroke on top. That means who is not B. So remember, these are all the numbers you have to choose from, 1 to 12. To figure out who is not B, you have to first identify who is B. And then say, all right, I know who B is. Now I know who is not B. Send the answer on the chat now, right? Now remember, it doesn't have the annoying N in my question. So that means you have to list out all the items and you have to put it in brackets and put your commas. Take a chance now and send the answer on the chat. So who is B, right? B is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. Let me go over here. B is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. So who is not B? Then everyone who I didn't underline. So the answer for this one would be, and I have to put my little squiggly brackets, would be 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. How much people got that correct? You can show it by raising your hands. How much people got that correct, right? That might be easier for you guys to raise your hands in this case here. Because who is not B? And of course, if I rephrase the question like this now, if I come and say N and I put the B in like this here, right? Some real terrible colors here. If I come and ask you to, like, I have a little space here. If I ask you N, B complement now, in this case here, I want you to add up, like do a count up of how much answers you got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 items that are not B, the complement of B. Right, so for the few who didn't understand complement, I hope you understand it now. Right, here's what I want you guys to do. Get your rulers, and I want everyone to draw this diagram for me. You don't have to draw the water and the boat and the grass and thing. Just draw a rectangle and 2 overlapping circles. Let me know when you're ready, right? Two circles. Well, it's 2 things we're measuring here, A and B, right? So usually they will, in school, they will call one circle A. So they'll put A here. Let me color code it. So since this circle is blue, I'll put this as blue. And then, oh, sorry, a little tired today. This here is going to be circle A, and the other one is going to be circle B. Because it's A and B, right? We're measuring the prime numbers and the factors of 12. So what we need to do first of all, usually in Venn diagrams, when we're drawing a Venn diagram, sometimes there are things that are common or intersect. That's the mud region. So between A and B, what is common to A and B? We should always figure that out first. And that's real easy to figure out, especially if you have the answer for A on top and the answer for B underneath. And both of them have a 2. That's common. And both of them have a 3. Look, A and B both have a 3. So they both seem to have a 2 and a 3 in common. The common region is the mud region because A come like water, B come like the grass, the land. So when the A and B combine, they combine in the mud region. So in the mud region, put 2 and 3. You don't have to put no commas or nothing. Just put them separately. Once again, in sets and Venn diagrams, you don't have to repeat the numbers. I know you have the 2 twice, but you just only write it once. I know we have the 3 twice, but you only write it once. Everyone put the 2 and 3 in the mud region. That's common to both of them. Right. So now, what's left for A? Well, in the number, the 2 and the 3 went into the mud region. So what's left for A? Well, unfortunately, in A, only 5, 7, and 11 are left. So 5, 7, and 11. They only remain in the water region, right? You space them out, just make sure they are in the water region. And B now, remember, B, the 2 and the 3 went into where? The mud region. So who is left to live on the grass now? Number B is the kind of grassy area. 1, 4, 6, and 12. 1, 4, 6, and 12. Easy stuff, right? But are we finished with that diagram? We are not finished. Remember, did we use all the numbers? I don't think we use all the numbers. Remember, all the numbers are 1 to 12, right? Look at it. We use 5, 7, and 11. I'm just going to cross it out. We use 5, 7, and 11. 2 and 3 are on the diagram. 2 and 3 are on the diagram. 1, 4, 6, and 12. 1, 4, 6, and 12. And it has some numbers here we didn't use. The 9, the 8, and the 10. The 9, the 8, and the 10, they don't belong in the water region. They don't belong in the grass region. They don't belong in the mud region. Where do they belong? In the sand region. You see the region around? I just call that the desert. All the rejects and unused just go there. So in the desert region, anywhere in the desert region, you can space it out how you want. 8, 9, and 10. Just make sure 8, 9, and 10 are in the desert region. Okay? Right. So this is one type of diagram that shows the actual values and where they are represented in the diagram. Everyone take down that for me, right? Just take down that for me. And then I'm going to show you a slightly different diagram. Slightly different diagram. Right. Right. So now you're going another textbook and you'll see the same question. But in the textbook, you don't see 5, 7, and 11, and a 2 and a 3. You notice how I named this circle A and I named the green circle B? Like this whole circle is B and this whole circle is A. If I do this now, instead of writing A, if I put NA. So the name of this circle is not A, it's NA. You all remember that annoying N? What he makes you do? When you have the annoying N in a question or in a diagram, you have to count up how much you have. And if you have NB here, it changes now how you're going to write the answers. So since it's NA now and NB, in this type of diagram, you are not going to list out the individual elements like 5, 7, and 11. You're just going to count up how much you have in each region. So in the water region, how much answers we have? 1, 2, 3. So you put 3 here. But this tree is not this tree here. This tree is a count up of how much answers you have in the water region. The mud region, how much answers we have? 2. In the grass region, how much answers we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. And in the desert region, how much we have? We have 3. So you all see the difference between these two diagrams? By the way, which one do you think gives you more information? Which one do you think is more useful? The one to the left or the one to the right? Well, what do you all think? Which one is more useful? Right? It's not like you have a choice. So you have to, it doesn't matter which one more useful. You have to know both of them for the exam. The one to the left, right? Because think about this, right? Right? If let me say somebody now comes to class, right? And only this part of the page is visible. If somebody looks at the diagram to the right, if he sees a tree here, do you think he would be able to guess that the three values was 5, 7, and 11, provided that he has no other information? Do you think he will look in the middle and say, well, it have a 2 here? The two numbers must have been 2 and 3? No, it could have been any two numbers in the universe, right? So the summary, I like to call this one the summary diagram, the one where you count up everything, but you don't know the actual values. It's a little bit less useful than the one where you list out all the individual values. Make sure you take down everything on the screen, right? So I want to show you all, the point of this was to show you that by simply introducing the letter N into the diagram, that changed everything in the question. Everything in the question. Also, if you have to put an equal sign here, I'm just saying this is real important, and I want you all to put this in. If in the exam they put NA and they put an equal sign here, and the examiner asks you to put a number here, the answer would be 5. You want to know why? Here it is. We're going to redo this just now. You're going to see an example of this, but let's introducing it now. You see, when you have a letter outside a circle, like NA, that represents the whole circle, not just the water piece. So NA, since it's outside the circle, it's representing this whole circle. So if the examiner asks you what value is NA, then it will be 3 plus 2. Everything in the circle adds up to 5. And NB, if he put an equal sign and expects you to put a number here, he's asking you how much items do we have in this whole circle? Because the NB is outside this circle, so it's representing this entire circle, inclusive of the mud region. So 2 plus 4 is 6, right? It's outside NA. When I label this, remember the name of this circle is A, and I put the A on the outside. So that A represents the whole circle. Whenever you put a letter outside a shape in Venn diagrams, it represents the whole shape. not just piece of the circle, the entire circle. And you are going to see that again today. And that's one of the most popular tricks in Venn diagrams, knowing whether the letter represents the whole shape or if it just represents the water piece, the kind of cookie bite piece. Right? Take down everything on the screen. Let me know when you're finished by raising your hands, and we will move on. Right. So Rowan and Jimmy, you went to the forest there. That little spooky forest there. Let's see what drama unfolds there. You get the witch to decipher this rule here. After 2 days, they reach the swamp. That's the witch there. All right, so we'll see if the witch decides to help them or not. All right, guys, I have a question for you on the screen. Let me label it here for you. Questions. You're going to get, I want you all to draw the diagram and answer question 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You don't have to, if you want to send the answers, not a problem, but work out all 6 and at least let me know when you're finished attempting it. I know some of you are saying, oh God, I'm not ready to do my own question yet. Guys, take my advice. I don't care if you get it wrong. Believe me, I really don't care if you get it wrong. I just want you to try at this point. I prefer if you try and get it wrong, than you just give up, right? I give you 5 minutes to attempt to draw and attempt all 6 questions. Good luck and hope you get them correct. You notice how this one is just A and B. So this is not the one where they make them add up how much answers they have in each section, right? Also, when you say A, you notice how this is circle A. Sorry for writing it so far from the circle, but this A obviously means this circle, and the name of this circle is B. So when you say A, we're talking about this whole circle, the water and the mud. And if they say B, they're talking about the grass and the mud, right? So the first one, A, it does not have the annoying N on the outside. So they're asking to list all the items in A. A lot of people would say the answer is 1, 3, and 8, but that would be wrong. When you just list it so, and you see the diagram, they want to know who in A. Who is A in this entire circle here? So it's 1, 3, 8, 4, and 7. But I have to write it in numerical order, right? So I have to put 1, 3, 4, 7, and 8. 1, 3, 4, 7, and 8. Don't mix up the values. Have it always arranged from smallest to largest. I know some of y'all got this wrong. Some of y'all just put 1, 3, and 8. Common trick in the exam. A means the whole A circle because that A is outside the circle. So a similar concept holds for B. They just come and say they want to know who is in B. So you go to your diagram. B is outside the circle, this circle, so it represents the whole circle. That's the 4, the 7, the 9, and the 3. So 4, 7, 9, and 13. I said 3 by mistake. I meant 13. I know some people have it wrong, right? So take down the correct answer now for number 1 and number 2. I'm saying it again. When the letter is outside, it represents the whole circle. Right. Right. So right? So let's try the other one now, right? The other one is A, and this symbol means what? If you turn back in it, this means union or to combine. But lucky for us, and I'm happy for this one, they have the annoying N on the outside. So they want us to combine everything in A and B. So this is the A and B circle, this whole region here, and they want us to do a count up. So in other words, they just want us to count up how much we have in the water, the mud, and the green. Because the water, the mud, and the green is everything. If you combine A and B, you're getting the water, the mud, and the grass. And they want us to count it up. So let's count it up now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The answer for that one is 7. Because it have the annoying N on the outside. Which brings us to number 4, which I know most people are going to get wrong, right? This is the complement. I know a lot of people don't like this word complement question. So we'll count it up after because we have the annoying N here. But this is asking us who is not B. Well, to figure out who is not B, we have to figure out who is B. Who is B? And the 4, the 7, the 9, and the 13. We could go to the diagram. I'm going to circle everybody who's associated with B or who is in the B circle. Or underline it, sorry. 9, 13, 7, and 4. So it comes like this. If I come and tell you, everybody who is B getting $1 million. So number 4, 9, 13, and 7 jump for joy because they are B. Who will be angry? Any people who is not B? Who will be sad? Who is not 4, 7, 9, and 13? In other words, who is not in the B circle? Because only B getting $1 million. So who is not B? Any answer is 1, 3, and 8. Am I correct or am I wrong? Who is not B? Who is the complement of B? A lot of people will say 1, 3, and 8. Now, they would be correct. 1, 3, and 8 are not part of B. But isn't 6 and 5 also not B? I mean, I know they're not in circle A. But the point is, 6 and 5 are not B. They're not getting $1 million. And they want us to do a count up. So how much people are not B? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? Right. Let's try number 5. Now I want to point this out, a real popular trick. If I ask you who is A, the first question, A means the whole circle, the whole A circle, right? But if I ask you who is A and they use the word only, there are 2 words they could use in maths that mean the same thing, only, or sometimes they use the word alone. Whenever you hear only or alone, be careful. If I ask you who is A, the answer will be 1, 3, 8, the 4, and the 7. The mud also gets included. But if they ask you who is A alone, they're only talking about the water region. It looks like a kind of cookie bite, like somebody took a bite out of the cookie. So A only, because they use the word only, you do not include the mud. The answer will be, let's be 1, 3, and 8. And if they said B only, well, it's the same concept. B only is not the 4 and the 7. It's just the green part. B only, because they use the word only, is 9 and 13. Right? And I'm going to try to trick you a lot, well, this week and next week, with the word only or alone. Take down all of my answers. Well, if you got any of them wrong, take it down, please. All right? And when you're ready to move on, like you finished, just raise your hand. So I'll get an idea of how fast to move on. Let's see what's going on with our witch friend here, right? Oh, by the way, you are part of the team. You don't see yourself there, right? But you are with Jimmy and Ruben, right? They explain to the witch that you need help to decipher the symbols, and the witch agrees to help under one condition. There's always a catch with these witches. You can't do anything out of kindness, right? She needs you to go recover some potions for her. Apparently, a goblin stole some of her potions. So obviously, she's gonna make you go and steal back the potions for her. And if you do that, she'll decipher the scrolls for you guys. And the filthy beast, well, the goblin, lives in the caves of dread to the east. All right. And you all agree. All right. Not a bad deal, I guess. All right. Here's what I need for you all to do now. You need to get two different colors for me. You can have, if you have a red ink and a blue ink, or a pencil and a blue, but you need two different colors. I'm going to give you all a few seconds, right? You need two colors, right? And here's what I need for you all to do. I need for you all to draw this diagram twice for me. So I'll draw it here once, and how I draw it here again, right? When you get your different colors, come back with your two different colors and draw up these two diagrams in one color for me, right? Let me know when you're ready. And we're going to do A intersect B and A prime intersect B. Let me know when you're fully ready with everything drawn. Ask us to find A, and remember what this symbol means? That means what? This symbol means A intersect B. This means what is common to A and B. Now, most people would know the answer to this question, right? So in other words, where do A and B overlap? And A and B overlap to give, and the answer would be 5, and we have to put it in little squiggly brackets. But let's just say somebody didn't know that answer. They couldn't see that A and B overlapping at 5. Whenever you have an intersect question, you can actually get the answer by drawing. And I'm going to do this twice for you all so you can see it, right? We know the answer is 5. But how do we know that's the answer? Well, let's see. Anytime I have an intersect question, and do not mix up intersect with union. Intersect is different from union. Union means to combine. And this is how I used to do it in school every single time, because intersect questions are not only simple like this one, they can get really complex, and you'll see that happening here. So you need a technique. If the examiner were to ask me to find A intersect B, here's what I will do. I will get one color. I might take my red ink. So I'm going to take my red ink, and I am going to shade A in red. I want you all to shade it just like this. You're not shading it like this. You're shading it with little slanted lines. Okay? So I'm going to shade A. But what is A? Isn't A this entire circle here? The water and the mud? Look at it there. I have a little diagram for reference. So I'm going to shade A in red with little slanted lines. Now I'm going to shade the whole of A, which is the water and the mud. Everyone do that for me with a red ink. Well, at least choose one of your colors. Shade it exactly like how I did it with slanted lines. I waited on you. Shade A. So when you have A intersect something or two things being intersected, split it up into two questions. It's A and B. You're going to shade A in one color, and then you're going to shade B in another color. So we just shaded A. Grab another color. I'm going to grab blue. And I'm going to shade B in a different color, right? Don't choose the same direction. You see how this one being shade upwards? Choose a different direction. Let's shade B now. Now, what is B? Now, I told you all, B is the entire B circle, the grass and the mud. So now, using slanted lines in a different direction, it's always good to choose a different direction. Shade the grass and mud region. Yes, I know the red and blue are going to overlap. That's the whole point. In an intersect question, if you shade both portions in a different color, one region will have two colors. The two colors will overlap. Look at this region here. Make it different. Isn't this region here, I put it in yellow, isn't that the only region that has blue and red? Look at it carefully. Where the 5 is living, doesn't that have blue and red? So, and the answer is 5. The region that has both colors at the end of the question is the intersect region. Now, I know some of you are saying, but that's real plenty work for such a simple question. I know from common sense the answer would have been what? 5, and okay? But let's try a harder question, a harder intersect question. Everyone write down this question for me. Look how this question is different. This is not A intersect B, This is A complement. Who is not A intersecting B? Let's try that question. As I guarantee you, that question hard to imagine. So you're going to be forced now to get two different colors to figure out which region has two different colors. Let's work it out together. Everyone grab their red ink, right? The first thing we're going to do is shade who is not A. Remember, this is A complement, right? Who is not A? And everyone outside the A circle is not A. Think about it. The 1, the 9, and the 5. Isn't that A? So who is not A? Everyone, and I mean every single thing on that diagram that's outside A. Look at this. I'm going to shade this whole diagram, but I dare not go into the A circle. I'm shaded everything but A. I'm not going inside that A circle there. Look at it. Notice everywhere have red, but inside the A circle, look at it. Do it just like I have it here, guys. I just shaded A complement. A complement means every single thing outside the A circle. Shaded just like this for me, guys. Exactly like that. I'm waiting on you. Do not go into the water and the mud, because the water and the mud belong to A. Now I have grabbed the other color now, the blue ink. You have to shade who is B, because you want to know complement of A intersect normal B. Who is normal B? And B is the grass and the dirt. So let's shade the grass and the dirt in blue. Choose a different direction. Grass and mud, sorry, the grass and the mud. What has both colors? Which area has both red and blue? You think you can send the answer for me? Which area has red and blue? Right? If you put your eyes closed, and only this region here, let me highlight it. And only the grass region has both colors. Look at it. The 5 doesn't have both colors. The 5 only has blue, if you look at it carefully. Only the grass region has both colors, red and blue. And what values live in that region? Huh? Who living in that region? 2 and 3. I know it's a little bit complicated, right? Don't worry, we're gonna have more practice questions, right? You gotta get the hang of practicing in shading in two different colors. Neatly, obviously, and then figure out which region has both colors. And that will always be the intersect region. Intersect will always end up with two colors. Right? I know you all want to do more practice. I'll give you more practice just now, don't worry. Right. Getting ready to change it in 20 seconds. Right, just checking through some answers here. All right. Someone asked if there's a name for this type of Venn diagram. No, no special name. This is just Venn diagrams, right? Venn diagrams. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. But for those who came in a little late, this class is being fully recorded. So in case you miss anything or want to review it, I will give you all the link after to review it. All right, so remember the witch said, you all said you all would go, right? But she has a condition. She wants you all to go to the cave to retrieve the potions from the goblin. But she needs some assurance. Isn't there a chance if you all go to the cave and get the potions, you all might steal the potions for yourselves and never ever ever bring it back for the witch? So she needs some assurance. So here's what she's going to do now. She's gonna use her magic eyes and she shoots Jimmy and turns him into stone. So she is going to hold Jimmy hostage in the swamp while you and Rowan go get the potions. And only when you bring the potions back to her, she will undo the spell. Quite a clever witch, I must say. His name was supposed to be Jimmy, but I made a mistake. All right. I want you all to try these two questions for me. I want you all, I don't want you to do it in your head. I want you all to physically do the shading. A intersect who is not B, the complement of B, and then the complement of A intersect the complement of B. Giving you 5 minutes. Guys, once again, I don't care if you get it wrong. Trying is everything, right? Trying is everything. Good luck, guys. So for this one here, is A intersect who is not B. Now it doesn't matter which one you shade first, right? You can shade A in one color and then who is not B in a different color. Well, let's just shade A. I'll use red for that. Who is A? Well, the whole A circle. When you just say A, you're talking about the whole circle, water and mud. So water and mud. So I hope everyone shaded that in red. Now we have to shade who is not B. Who is not B? I'll use blue. Isn't this the B circle here? Well, then not B is every single thing outside that circle. So we are going to shade outside that B circle. The whole diagram, but we never dare venture inside. Look at this carefully. Huh? Going up to the boundary of the blue or of the circle, of the B circle, but I never dare going inside it. So which area has both colors? And that's the water area only. If you look carefully, only the 1 and the 9 region, the water region. Look inside this region here. That's the only region that has red and blue lines. So the answer for that one would be 1 and right. Try give me a minute for the next one. Who is not A intersect who is not B? You're gonna have to shade outside the whole A circle in one color, and then shade outside the whole B circle in a different color. And then ask yourself, which region has both colors? Let's shade who is not A in red. Who is not A? Everyone outside the water and mud region. So let's shade outside the mud and water region. Look at it. My red here never goes inside the A circle, because that is not A. We are shading who is not A. If you didn't do it, I'm giving you some chance to kind of erase your work and look at it. Look at it. Nowhere in this A circle has red lines. That's not A we shaded. Now we have to choose a different color for who is not B. Not B. Who's B? I'll put it here. Isn't B this circle here? The water, and sorry, not the water. That's the grass and the mud. So we have to shade everything outside this region, but never dare venture inside that region. So choose a different direction. Don't go where the 2, the 3, and the 5 live in. Everything else gets shaded in blue. You're going up to the boundary of the circle, but you can't go inside that circle. Which area has both colors? You look, the 1 and the 9 only have blue. The 5 have no colors, that's worse. The 2 and the 3 only have red. But look carefully. In the sand region, where the 8 and the 7 live in, the 8 and the 7 have both colors. So that's the answer for that one. A complement intersect B complement is 7, 8. Okay. So some teachers just say to learn off the answers. Like whenever they give you A complement, B complement, they'll tell you memorize that that's the outskirts, the desert region. Or if they have A intersect B prime, the teacher will tell you memorize that answer. I don't agree with that. I prefer to reason out the answer through drawing. Because if you're going to have an endless amount of situations to remember, and eventually you're going to end up puzzling yourself. So instead of remembering a specific situation, let's learn to reason out the answer so we can get out any situation. All right. I know some of you all are tired. I know. You had a whole day, first day of school. All right. So first thing, coming close to the end of class. First, but let me just get a few. I want to send something on the chat here for you guys here. I'm sending a link. Everyone click on the link. I'm sending it a few times. Click on it and save it. I'm sending it multiple times to everyone. That link that I just sent on the chat, that's the link to access all the recordings. Okay? First things, this is not, just give me a chance to talk, right? So anytime you miss a class, you just click on that link. If that's the link for the Monday and the Tuesday class, right? So in 24 hours, I will upload today's class to that link. Okay? I'm just letting you all know. Also,